You're listening to Your Highest Self podcast, episode number 10. We self-sabotage to self-protect and 3 ways to conquer it. Welcome back to the show, guys. My name is Shanae, and I am your host today. Thank you so much for taking the time to invest in your highest self today. Super excited for today's episode, but first, if you're new here, welcome. Super happy to have you here. If you're new to my work, I am a competition prep expert, master life coach, and high performance coach. I do lots of coaching, and my passion really is to help women and empower women, educate you, and give you the tools for holistic solutions to your fitness, nutrition, and your mindset so that you can step into your highest self. My background was that of a competitive bodybuilder. I competed for many years as a pro until I found out that putting myself through those extreme diets wasn't giving myself the happiness that I was really looking for. But what competing did give me, and what my journey through life has really given me, is a mindset of excellence. And really that is what it's going to take for you to step into your highest self. So in this show, I share all of that. So happy you're here. Hope you like it. If you do, don't forget to download a couple episodes and drop a rating and review and let me know what you think. So today's show, the inspiration behind it is my own journey. And what I realized was the last couple months, I have been self-sabotaging myself in small ways, and I didn't even realize it. So in today's show, I will be sharing with you how self-sabotage has been showing up in my life and what I realized it was protecting me from, why we stay stuck in the same loops, and then a 3-step process I created to conquer it. Because as you know, I am committed to giving you actionable tips and taking something away from the show that you can put into action today. So let's get into it. So let's see. Okay, so starting off, we all self-sabotage. And the reason we do it is because it is a protection mechanism. But I will get into that soon. So I just kind of want you to have that in the back of your mind. Now, for me, I think I've mentioned this in the show. I have been wanting to start a podcast for so long. So long. And what I realized for me is that I'm constantly in a battle with my brain about making decisions. It's like there are some things that I really want to do, but I have a hard time moving forward with it because I get so indecisive and I get in my head and I overanalyze and I overthink instead of just doing it. You know what I mean? So take this podcast, for example. It was like, why the heck have I not launched it yet? There was just no reason behind me not doing it, except for when I think back on it, I was like, oh, every time I tried to go do it, something would pop up. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to do that. I did not commit to blocking off time and sitting down and recording because a small part of me was protecting myself from it. So why is that? The reason why we stay stuck in the same loops and the reason why self-sabotage happens is because at a visceral level, there is a part of you, there is a belief inside of you that you are not capable of handling or worthy of that thing that you desire. So take weight loss, for example. If you always find yourself in the self-sabotage loop of binge eating, it is because there is a part of you that does not think that you're worthy of being a lower weight or of having the body you desire or of having the man you desire, the job you want. Does that make sense? You at a visceral level just don't think you're capable of it. So our brains are like 2 billion years old, and its primary job is to protect us. Okay, so if you remember, like back in the caveman days, we had to like scan for predators, make sure that we are not in danger. And so that is what our brain does. So if there is a belief within you, remember how I talked about our beliefs are the glass ceilings of our potential? If there is a belief within you that you can't handle that said thing, then you are going to protect yourself by sabotaging what you want so that you stay at this lower level. Does that make sense? So Tony Robbins has a great analogy. It's like a thermostat thing. So we all have an internal temperature, an internal thermostat. And say our normal life is like 75 degrees. If you drop below 75 degrees and you go to 70 or 65, just like how a regular thermostat in your house would automatically turn on to heat you up, you do that too, right? Like, when you are being super lazy, you haven't gone to the gym in a couple weeks, you're gaining maybe you're gaining weight or you're just feeling really lethargic, you wake yourself up. You're like, all right, come on, got to get back into this. This is not the life I want to live. This is not who I am. Well, the same happens in the opposite direction. When you start to perhaps put yourself out there on Instagram, you start showing your voice, you start showing your face on stories, you start showing up for yourself by going to the gym, by taking ownership of your nutrition, you start heating up. You get up to 80, 85, 90. Maybe you start getting praise from others. Maybe people start noticing, wow, I really love how committed you are to this new lifestyle. And then what happens? You're not used to being at 90 degrees. You're like, who am I? This is not me. Subconsciously, right? This is not a conscious decision. And so therefore, you self-sabotage because somewhere up in your brain, you're like, oh, this isn't me. That I don't deserve this. This is not who I am. That is why we self-sabotage. Our internal thermostat kicks in and brings us all the way back to 75 degrees. Yeah. When I heard that analogy, I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. So in order for ourselves to raise that glass ceiling of our potential, we have to start believing that we are worthy of those things and that we are capable of handling that. One of my personal mantras that I started to use last year, because I was self-sabotaging my business. I was getting more clients, I was getting busy, I was getting booked out, and I self-sabotaged by overworking myself and burning myself out so that I couldn't handle more clients or more success. So then my new mantra became, I am capable of handling more success. So what happened was the last couple months I've been really thinking about this and thinking like, gosh, why do we self-sabotage? So all of that came to me. And then what confirmed it was a video that I saw on Instagram from Mastin Kipp, who, if you aren't following him, he is incredible. He has an incredible book that I've read. And it's all about trauma. And he shared this concept that self-sabotage is actually self-protection. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what I've been thinking about. So the universe was really speaking to me and looking out for me here. And that was my sign that I needed to share this with you. So when I started to get more curious about why am I self-sabotaging myself, it came to the realization is that because I'm protecting myself. Like I said, there was a part of me that didn't believe I was capable of handling those things, and I was protecting myself from something. So what I did was I started to write out what my self-sabotage patterns were, and they were not believing in myself, people-pleasing, a lot of people-pleasing, second-guessing, and then seeking external validation. So I wrote out what my self-sabotage behaviors were, and then I got curious. I came at this from a place of compassion and curiosity, and I was like, okay, like what am I protecting myself from? What am I scared of? And what it came down to was I'm scared of failing, so I don't believe in myself. Right? So I don't want to fail, so I don't push myself hard so that I don't fail. I stay within my comfort zone. I'm scared of someone not liking me, so I people please. I'm scared of making the wrong decision, so I second guess myself. I'm scared of not being enough, so I seek external validation. So when I clearly wrote out how my self-sabotaging behaviors were protecting me, it allowed me to analyze it if it actually benefit me to continue. And of course it doesn't. It does not benefit me to continue acting this way. So if you are following along and you're like, oh my God, this is awesome, I want to do this too, let's do it together. So go ahead and take out your journal. Pause me if you're in the car. Come back to this later. You can even say it out loud. And then later you can write it down. So let's do it. So let's do this so that you can experience personal growth and conquer this, because until you do this, you will stay stuck in these same self-sabotage loops until you start to create a higher sense of belief for yourself, until you start to step into your highest self. You're going to stay at that 75 degrees. We don't want to be there. We are not here to be mediocre, right? We want to be more than we want to be our highest self. Like if you're here, I truly believe that about you. You're open, you're coachable, because this is scary stuff, guys. It's actually really hard to sit here and share this online to all these people that this is how I self-sabotage myself. But until I take ownership of it, I won't change. And so that's why you have to take ownership of it too. But you don't have to blast it out to the world. You can just take the first step and be vulnerable and open to yourself. So let's do this. First thing is I want you to write down the behaviors or patterns that you're not happy with. What do you constantly do in life that you're not happy about? Perhaps you're like me. Perhaps you people please. Maybe you procrastinate a lot. Maybe you have a lot of victim mentality. Maybe you... what are some other ones? Like second guessing, seeking external validation. Maybe you have a shopping addiction. So what are the behaviors and patterns that you're not happy with? And then I want you to identify how those are keeping you safe, like I did. The reason is because we can't change what we're not aware of. And I just want to give a side note that step number 1 might take you a while. You may not be able to, in 10 minutes, figure out what you're not happy with and how it's keeping you safe. So give yourself some time and space if this is something that you're having a hard time with. I just ask that you don't give up on it. So come back to it, but don't give up on it. Don't avoid it. If you're feeling resistance to this exercise, it means you really need to do it. Okay? Step number 2. Once you have that written out, I want you to reframe each sentence into an I am or I have statement that is positive in your daily journaling. Side note, if you don't know what a daily journaling practice looks like, I will link a post in the show notes about how I give journaling homework to my clients, and I'll give you a brief overview. It's 3 parts. The first part is gratitude. The second part is an energy check, so you can tap into your feminine energy. You're asking yourself, what is my energy like today and how am I feeling? What do I need to give myself? And then the third part is intention setting for the day, and we do that with I am statements. So that's this part of your journaling that you would put this in. So for example, if we take my self-sabotage behaviors, I would write, I have strong self-belief. I am accepted and loved, right? About the people-pleasing one. I have a strong intuition to rely on. And the last one is I am enough, always. So you're going to write that out every single day. And I mean it. I really mean it. This is because you cannot create a new state of being unless you have repetition. I posted this on Instagram. A new state of being is created through daily repetition. So this is not just a once a week thing, and this is not just like a couple times a week thing. It's really an everyday thing. You have to be committed fully. If you're only half committed, you're only going to get half the results. So now once you write down your I am statements, for the week, you have one more layer to this homework. You're going to pick one of those positive mantras a week. So let's take my first one. I have strong self-belief. And I want you to write an action statement about it. So for example, you could ask yourself, how would a person with strong self-belief act? What would they do? What would they say? How would they dress? How would they show up? And then you are going to commit to doing it, like that action statement, every day. So for example, for the strong self-belief, what I wrote down was, a person with strong self-belief would speak their mind and they would take risks. So I committed to speaking my mind more and taking a risk that I would have previously been scared to take. So what did that look like for me? I launched the damn podcast. I also have been a little bit more vocal on social media with the things that I feel very passionate about. So not being so vanilla and really speaking my mind and advocating for what I stand for, because that is what a person with strong self-belief would do. They wouldn't hold back opinions that, I'm not condescending to people and my opinions don't hurt others, but I am expressing my opinion more strongly because I want to overcome this habit, right? This self-sabotage loop of not believing in myself. And the only way that I can overcome that habit is to start acting like a person who has strong self-belief. That person is going to speak their mind and they are going to take risks. To see how that works out, that is how we conquer self-sabotage, my friends. So what you're going to do now is you're going to practice that one action step for a whole week before you move on to the next one. This is really important. You ready for this? You have to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. Positive statements are great, affirmations are great, mantras are great, but they mean nothing if you don't actually put it into action. I really, really mean that. If you habitually find yourself, you're like, oh, but Shanae, I journal every day. I write my thoughts down every day and I'm not changing. It's because you're not doing anything. It's not enough to just write these things down. You have to put them into action into your daily life. So that's it for today's episode. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that these action steps are something that you can start putting into practice today. Actually, I don't hope. I know you can do this today. And so I would love to see you work through this in your journal. Take a screenshot, take a photo, post it on your story and tag me so I can see your the ways that you are going to start to overcome it. And the last thing I want you to do is I want you to meet yourself with compassion and start to change the word self-sabotage to self-protect. And then you can start being like, okay, I'm protecting myself. And of course, I'm protecting myself from this, and it's actually not something for me to be scared of. It's actually something I want to overcome. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to conquer it. Yeah? Amazing. If you love today's episode and this is a transformation that you desire, I do have programs around this work. So currently, enrollments are open. If you're listening to this live, it's August. Today for me is August 20th, but this show is not on August 20th. But anyways, we are open for enrollment for Mindset Makeover Academy. It's a 10-week group life coaching program with a 10-week curriculum where we first audit your lifestyle, find your purpose, build your value system, establish your boundaries, and learn how to love yourself outside of your body and really just shift your whole mindset on all levels. So if you've found yourself without a purpose, if you are finding yourself sabotaging yourself all the time and you don't know what the root of the problem is and you want to conquer it, this program is for you. I'll have the link down in the show notes so you can read more about it, hear the testimonies from the girls who were in season 1, and there's an application. It is by application process only, but it's because this is an investment in yourself, and I want to make sure that you're the right fit because I want you to get something out of it. I'm not just going to let everybody in because I want to take your money. That's not how I am. I want to make sure that you're going to get $1,000,000% value from this, and that will only happen if you are the correct person for it. So that's why there's an application process. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to DM me or email me. I'll have all my info down in the show notes. Thank you so much again for investing in yourself today. I'm so excited to be in your ear, and I'm so excited to have you in the next season of Mindset Makeover Academy. If this work speaks to you, calls to you, this is your sign, girlfriend. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to be your highest self.